everybody, and welcome to Mod Showcases. I'm your host, Casey Jones 382, and I'm gonna do a mod showcase today. Yeah, mod showcases. Yeah, we're doing the Real Trains mod. I'm in Minecraft 1.7.10. I have not enough items, and Real Trains mod, and a little pointer to you all. If you want to download this mod and you go to the form, it's in Japanese, so you can't read it whatsoever. But additionally, you might freak out, but all the mod configs or whatever, it's not in the mod itself. You have to download something else, like NGTLIB or something like that, as well as the mod itself in order to download it. But enough of that. We'll get started today. Today I'm just gonna be working on the basics: track laying and trains, crafting and ironworks, and guns, pow pow, pew pew, electricity. That's gonna be like another episode. But first things first is the markers. These are how you're going to make tracks so you can go places. One thing I'm gonna note: this is a Japanese mod, so be ready for a lot of Japanese characters kind of like this.
皆さんこんにちは。今回もリアルトレインモッドの解説をしていきます。まず、レールの種類を増やしたので、
As quoted from the mod creator himself or herself. I can't tell because it's in Japanese, but you can't see the markers in your hand unless you have 5. Then again, they kind of look weird in your hand, so beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop. Okay, I'm done. But basically, you're gonna place a marker here, and this is the latest update version, pretty much. But you're gonna get all this 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, and by that they mean blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is actually measured in blocks. I'm gonna go up to 50 meters and place it facing the other marker. There's an obstacle. It's very picky, so you have to delete everything, including the grass. But then you'll right click on it once it's facing each other, and you'll get the achievement Goodbye Minecart if you've not already done this, and you'll get your gigantic track. And this was the regular red marker. This is the diagonal one that actually makes diagonal train tracks. And there's a switch one, which is kind of confusing at first, but I figured it out. I've also figured switching tracks is going to be another video. It's going to be called Expanding Your Railroad Network or something like that. But what you're going to do is you're going to place a switch marker where you want the switch to start and split off into 2 directions. And then at the ends, you're going to want to put red markers and then run back to your... Right, I'm in creative mode. Then you're going to run back to your switch marker, right click it, and you'll get a switch. This will work with diagonal tracks too. This might look really weird. And actually it doesn't. So you could do that. Or you could do something like this, maybe. Then you could do a double diagonal one, diagonal, diagonal. Yeah, like that. But that's pretty much that. And then you have your slope ones. There's a 16 block 1, 8 block 1, 4, and then a ridiculously gradient 1 something, 2 blocks. So here's the 16 one, the 18 one, or the 8 one. I would recommend using the 16 and 18, 16 and 8 slopes. The 4 one, the 4 slope, I would only recommend using in like a tight space. But if you're in a really tight space, yeah, all these go up 1 block. See, 1 block, 1 block, 1 block, 1 block. And if you place a block next to it, you might notice that you can see through the block, which is pretty weird. But that's all the track I'm going to show, and then I'm going to build like a test track. I always call them test tracks, but you have to clear away everything where you're going to build the tracks. Everything, including grass, which I kind of find weird. But you can go all the way to like 90 meters, and it won't register. The limit for the tracks is 60 meters, or blocks, however you want to call it. So, yeah, I'm just going to build a test track real quick.
2 hours later.
And I'm back. And I finished the test track, and the redstone torch is aiming at blocks near the switch is none of your concern, people. Okay? It's none of your concern. I'm starting a yard, and you're going to learn all about why I have random redstone torches powering blocks near the switch in the next tutorial of this mod. But basically, I made this test track really big. There's a huge line of straight track here, which is where I'm going to be laying down the trains. The only one I would really caution about is the tanker car. Just going to show that off real quick. It's very weird. I don't know how it works. You can't store stuff in it. It kind of looks a little weird. And if you try to change the, even though it says you can select models by sneaking and right clicking the center of the train, it won't work. Now, before I make that official, I'm going to go test it. Actually, no, wait, I'm not. I've learned my lesson. I tried to test it, and then it, like, failed. Don't ask me why I'm playing with that. But these other ones, they actually work, and I even installed a few more textures for them, like an American Amtrak train, a few steam locomotives, some weird-looking Japanese ones. But that's the majority of them are Japanese ones. I tried this like Toka Pack thingy, but it wouldn't like work. Mod person who made the entire mod, I hope you speak English. Because if you're watching my video on your mod, please tell me how to download a lot of the textures that you have with the opening doors train and stuff. Item diesel train. It's pretty loud if you have it up like full volume. As you walk away from it, sound kind of fades, and you have smoke coming out of the exhaust or something. This kind of looks like dual cab diesel train, like a commuter train that you find in rural suburbs or something like that. That made no sense at all. But shift and right click and you can get all these textures. The Amtrak and the passenger cars and all this stuff is like added and stuff. But the ones that you do have is default but rusty with no sounds or seats, and then freight locomotive, just currently my favorite, the freight locomotive. It's a double cab, nice big powerful freight locomotive. Same with the electric locomotive. Kind of like an hang on a second. Actually, I can't relate it to any American trains around here, but it's got a headboard, special rapid service. It's got side thingies. Let's say one, like a weird double T. Hemeji dot oba aboshi, something like that. Then you have your little hole of empty nothingness, and you can actually walk inside the trains, and you can sit in any of these seats. Bing. Oops, I accidentally clicked in the driver's seat. But once you drive the trains, you get driving, and then I can choose the models. For default, you have the one it started as, same one that it started as, but with no real cab. Test, which is not visible from the inside. It's very weird. I'm gonna replace it because I can never tell where the middle is from that one. So you have the two ones, test, and then bullet train. Bullet train passenger car. And bullet train passenger car with pantograph. And a little thing about the diesel train. If I go in here, right click on the bogie, you can drive it. If I press I, nothing happens. If I press P, it was very faint, but you heard a horn, right? You heard a horn. If I go in this train, the one with the cab, I go in the cab area where there's a windshield. I is chime. I don't know why they have chimes on these kind of Japanese trains, but P is supposed to be the horn. It sounds like a weird other chime. If I go to the one that has no real cab or the other cabs, there's no chime, but there's the weird horn. On the bullet train engine unit, the backside with no real cab, IP. So it has the train horn that I like. Yeah, look, my head's sticking out the top. It's so blocky. So blocky and weird. Okay, enough of that. Item freight car spawns out as like a TTX kind of train. No chime and no horn. Shift click center the body. These come with textures. It's like a weird sort of military thing, and then there's another weird sort of military flatbed. But the default ones are this weird artillery one, default, a hopper that strangely enough, I'm normal right clicking, strangely enough, if I grab a container, it still behaves like a freight car for some strange reason. And then there's the log one. There's a log one, but if I put all these containers in, it'll act as if the containers are here. What's awesomer, if that's even a word, I can put stuff in the containers and then take them out again. So I just screwed up my inventory. Don't care right now. I'm just gonna delete all these. I'm gonna make a freight train. I just deleted my flatbed car accidentally. Yeah, set the time to 0. And now I'll show you about trains building. Yeah, trains building. With a crowbar. Okay, and now time for trains building. Yeah, and I'm gonna basically give you some pointer tips. That made no sense. Placed my engine. I'm gonna choose my train to be, can't do the steam locomotive. It's too awesome. Maybe my passenger locomotive. I don't no, I want it to be something awesome. These ones sound very weird. Cover your ears and turn down the volume. Like, I'm gonna take off my headset right now. Yeah, I just put it back on. I heard it through the headphones. It's like so ouch, my ears. But then yeah, the blue engine kind of sucks, so I'm not using that one. I'm just gonna use the standard default kind of thing. Gonna use the standard default freight locomotive. Then I'm gonna put behind it another default freight locomotive that I'm gonna couple together. Because this train is gonna be like long, I guess. And you have little couplers. They look like the automatic US couplers, but basically, right click a bogie and it'll say concatenation mode. Right click here, click down to go forward, up is just increase the brakes. Down to green will release the brakes, and then let's blast the horn a few times. Now down. And then once it's hit its mark and coupled together with the other train, which kind of looks weird, you'll hear an anvil ching kind of sound. Yeah, like you'll hear an anvil kind of sound. Yeah, something like that. But now if we try to move our consist forward, I can't release the brakes. Now, listen. That's me spamming the keyboard. In the down position, I can blow the horn, but I can't seem to move. Problem solved. E. It'll bring us to our survival inventory for some weird reason. Oh, there's a beacon. Just gonna click it, click, click, click. You have to click setting. Formation, it currently shows no thing. Click front, light on for no apparent reason. I'm just gonna turn it off. And now our train is highlighted. So now we can press escape, release our brakes, and start the train. So I'm gonna run around the loop a couple times. And as you can see, we're pulling our consist along. 2 locomotives. Hard at work. You see their pistons are pumping. Pumping pistons. Dun 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 dun. Unstoppable. Oh gosh, we're going fast. We're gonna coast for now. Okay, I'm gonna stop reciting Unstoppable. Yeah, it's a real trains mod. I'm gonna wait until our train comes to a stop, which will be very soon. See? It's like stopping right now. I'm just gonna... See, our consist has come to a complete stop. Once it's done that, we can load up the consist. First we'll put a hopper car. So we'll put a hopper car there first. No real reason at all. And then I'll just keep it like freight car, like TTX style. American references, Japanese people. You probably wouldn't really understand unless you moved to America. And that's not supposed to be an insult, by the way. And I don't think you can place them on, I couldn't think you could put them on switches, but you can't put them too close together either. So far, this is our consist, which is pretty tiny if I do say so myself. Don't know why we needed 2 locomotives for that. But anyways, if I grab myself like a few gajillion containers, yeah, if I grab my, hang on, I gotta go turn the light on in this room, it's so dark. There we go, much better. So if I just grab myself a few gajillion containers, that should be enough. Just gonna put them in dirt. I'll just right click on this and load them up. Creeper Corp for life. Preston plays referencing. Also, even though this has nothing to do with trains right now, be sure to check out my friend Jeffrey's channel, Nightlight Gaming 125. Pretty cool channel, if I do say so myself. He does Gary's mod. He does Gary's mod, people. So now we have our consist. I'm just gonna switch that. And now I'm gonna recite this. Dun 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 dun. So, I am Galeese from Unstoppable. Hang on, you forgot to tie in the errand from the point. Yes, so? So, you don't have any air brakes. We can tie 'em on once we got her parked and Bunny's quit as you-know-whatting. Okay. Dewey, you got 29 cars, you got 10 to go, you're good. Taking PB9 over to D10. Hold your horses. What's wrong? Darn trailing point switch. Things align for D16. What's your stopping distance? At least 20 cars to a stop, darn it. So we back up and lose a little time. I'm hopping out. Don't get out of the cab, man. Don't worry, I'll set the independent. Not. You don't set the independent. I'm reciting. Get in. No! Look, I'm just gonna... Why can't I get out of the train? Help! 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 I can't get out of the train! I'm trapped. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try this again. Motorman? You suck. You suck, dude. I think it was Unstoppable killing the entire operation, but... Well, pretty much that's all I have to show with, this thing. Whoop! What the... that was weird. That was very weird. That weird sound is supposed to be clickety-clack. Clickety-clack. Going down the track. Death has occurred. Just relaying track. Much better. That's pretty much all I have to show with this part of the mod. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for part 2. This is Casey Jones, signing out. For now.